1995, the world was a very different place. No social media, no smartphones, just whispers of gossip in the streets, newspapers on porches, and the sound of dial-up internet in the homes of the lucky few. It was in this world that a young woman named Clarissa stood at the edge of a quiet country road, clutching her swollen belly with tears burning her cheeks. She was only 23, and yet life had already pushed her into battles that would have broken stronger hearts. She wasn't alone, at least she hadn't been. Just 2 days earlier, the man she loved more than her own life had walked out of her world forever. His name was Thomas. Handsome, ambitious, and smooth with words that once wrapped around her heart like honey, he had promised her the stars. He had promised her forever. But when the doctor's voice revealed the impossible, that Clarissa wasn't carrying just one child but 5, Thomas's smile faltered and his promises shattered. "I can't do this," he whispered that night, staring at her as though she were a stranger. 5, Clarissa, I'm not ready to be a father, let alone to 5 children. This is too much." She reached for him, begging, but he stepped back. His final words cut deeper than any knife. "I'll ruin my future if I stay. You'll survive without me." And with that, he left her, alone, pregnant, and terrified. The scandal rocked the small town of Willow Creek. Whispers spread faster than fire through dry fields. "Did you hear? Clarissa Johnson, 5 Bobbies and no father, poor thing." Others weren't so kind. She must have done something to drive him away. Some even called the children cursed before they were even born. But Clarissa refused to let the cruelty of others define her. In the cold winter of 1995, she gave birth to 5 beautiful black Bobbies, 4 girls and 1 boy. Against all odds, despite the strain and the exhaustion, she looked at each tiny face and felt nothing but overwhelming love. She named them Hope, Faith, Grace, Joy, and Michael. Raising quintuplets alone was a task most people would never dare imagine. Nights blurred into days, bottles into diapers, exhaustion into silent tears cried in the dark. She worked 3 jobs, cleaning houses, waitressing at the diner, and folding clothes at the laundromat, just to keep food on the table and a roof over their heads. Many nights, Clarissa ate nothing so her children could have enough. Still, she never let her children feel unloved. She filled their home with laughter, bedtime stories, and whispered prayers that someday the pain of abandonment would turn into strength. She told them, "Your father leaving us wasn't your fault. You are my miracles, and one day the world will see what miracles can do." The children grew, each carrying their own unique spark. Hope, the eldest by mere minutes, was fiery and determined, often stepping into the role of protector for her siblings. Faith was quieter, deeply thoughtful, with a love for books that seemed endless. Grace, always smiling, carried warmth that lit up every room. Joy lived up to her name, her laughter contagious even on the hardest days. And Michael, the only boy, grew into his mother's shadow, strong and resilient, always trying to take care of her even when he was just a child. But life wasn't gentle. They faced taunts at school, children whispering about their father who had left, mocking their mother who worked dirty jobs. Michael once came home with a black eye after defending his sisters from bullies. Clarissa patched him up, her voice trembling as she told him, "Never be ashamed of who you are. Your worth isn't defined by the man who walked away. It's defined by the love you give, the strength you show." Years passed, and the quintuplets blossomed into extraordinary young adults. Hope became a lawyer, determined to fight for the voiceless. Faith earned a scholarship in literature, her words sharp enough to move hearts. Grace studied nursing, pouring compassion into healing others. Joy pursued music, her voice carrying the kind of soul that left audiences breathless. Michael, strong and unwavering, became an engineer, building bridges, both literally and figuratively. Through every graduation, every achievement, Clarissa stood proud, her hands often rough from years of labor, her body weary, but her heart full. She had given her children the life she had promised them, even when the world doubted her. But fate has a way of weaving threads we can't always see. Nearly 30 years after Thomas had vanished, in the year 2025, the quintuplets decided to do something extraordinary. They wanted to honor their mother, the woman who had sacrificed everything. So they planned a surprise celebration in Willow Creek's town hall, inviting neighbors, teachers, friends, and even old critics who once doubted them. The event was grand. Photos of Clarissa through the years lined the walls, her holding 5 tiny bobbies, her walking them to school, her sitting proudly at their graduations. Speeches were made, tears flowed freely, and the room echoed with applause for the woman who had defied all odds. But in the middle of that joyous night, an unexpected figure walked through the doors. His hair was gray now, his once charming face lined with age, but his presence drew gasps from the crowd. It was Thomas. Clarissa's heart clenched at the sight of him. For nearly 3 decades she hadn't seen his face. He walked slowly, shame heavy in his eyes. "Clarissa," he said softly, his voice breaking, "Children, I don't deserve to be here, but I couldn't stay away tonight. I've lived with regret every single day. I left because I was a coward. I thought I'd lose my future if I stayed. But the truth is, leaving you all was the greatest mistake of my life." The room fell silent. The quintuplets stared, emotions swirling like storms in their hearts. Hope's fists clenched, ready to unleash years of anger. Michael's jaw tightened, his protective instincts screaming. But before either could speak, Clarissa raised a trembling hand. "Why now, Thomas?" she asked, her voice steady but filled with years of pain. "Why after 30 years, when you missed their first words, their first steps, their triumphs, their tears? Why now, when I carried the weight of your absence every single day?" Thomas's eyes welled with tears. "Because I wanted to see the people they became. Because I wanted to say I was wrong. I thought I was saving myself, but all I did was destroy myself. You raised them into everything I could never be, and I am proud of them, even if I don't deserve to be." Hope stepped forward, her voice sharp. "Proud? You don't get to be proud. You abandoned us. Mom worked her fingers raw so we could eat, so we could live. You don't get to show up now and claim us." Michael added, his tone firm, "You left her with nothing but pain, and she turned it into strength. If you're here for forgiveness, you'll have to earn it, because we don't owe you anything." The tension in the room was thick, heavy with decades of wounds. Clarissa wiped a tear from her cheek, her voice soft yet resolute. "Children, anger will burn you more than it burns him. I don't forgive him for leaving us, but I do forgive myself for carrying that pain too long. We don't need his validation. We never did. Look around. This celebration is proof of what love can do, even when abandoned." The crowd erupted in applause, standing in honor of her strength. Thomas lowered his head, tears spilling freely. He knew he could never undo the past, never reclaim the years he had thrown away. But something unexpected happened. Grace, the gentle nurse, stepped toward him. Her voice was kind but firm. "We can't change what you did, but maybe instead of walking away again, you can do something good with the time you have left. Not for you, but for others you abandoned like us. Use your regret to fuel change." Thomas nodded, broken yet strangely hopeful. It wasn't acceptance, but it was a chance at redemption. By the end of the night, the quintuplets stood on stage, arms wrapped around their mother. Clarissa's eyes shone with pride as she whispered, "You are my miracles, and no truth, no pain, no betrayal can ever take that away." The crowd cheered, their story etched forever in the hearts of all who heard it. And though Thomas remained in the shadows of what could have been, Clarissa and her quintuplets walked forward into the future with strength, unity, and love, proof that abandonment could never break a family built on sacrifice and resilience. The truth, 30 years in the making, wasn't just about the man who left. It was about the woman who stayed, the children who rose, and the love that conquered everything.